4. Awesome. It looks like we are live on all platforms. Okay. Now it's official. I've gotten 57,384 notifications that shows that we are absolutely live right now. Perfect. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to a one date late sex, love, and marriage. I am your favorite life coach and certified clinical sexologist, Coach K, bringing you another amazing topic. Today's topic is one that I feel really needs to be talked about. I know I say that every week, but this one is definitely is huge. It's affecting a lot of our youth. It is affecting a lot of us as parents, and it is affecting us as effective parents. And before we dive into tonight's topic, I'm just going to give you a few reminders of some upcoming things where you can meet me live, which I want to meet you guys. I want to share time with you. I want to hear from you. I want to learn from you. So the very first thing that we have going on, if you are in the Richmond, Virginia area or within a 4-hour driving distance of Richmond, here are some events that I will be hosting on a routine basis that you are absolutely invited to. The first thing is this Sunday, I have the open house for the new home of Love and Intimacy 101 and Date Night RVA, which is the space at Norchest. Yay! We're officially here and we want you to come by. We want to have you network with other business professionals. I want to create a referral list because I have a space, but I am not a decorator. So if you are a business professional in the Richmond, Virginia area or within 4-hour driving distance, it is free for you to attend. And I would love to meet you. So you can just shoot me a message and I'll make sure you get that link for you to register for the open house that is coming up on Sunday, the 26th from noon to 3. Then we have self-care Sundays that are starting July 10th, twice a month. Ladies, this is for you. Self-care Sundays. It is going to be a time for you to come to the facility and truly just be pampered with information, activities, and I have a host of special guests that has things for you. Super excited about that. And let's not forget about Date Night RVA. Date Night RVA is the first and I believe only dating couples, married or couples dating social club here in the Richmond, Virginia area. You get 2 fully executed dates every month. You get a weekly mindfulness couples yoga class and a couple other goodies that only people who sign up will know about it. And then the last thing is, I'm really excited that I will be presenting 2 topics. Yes, 2 topics this year at Sex Down South. What is Sex Down South? Well, Sex Down South is a conference for any and everyone who is either in the sexuality space, as in a professional, or someone who wants to be amongst other people who are open about their sex and sexuality. Sex Down South is held in Atlanta, Georgia, every year. I believe this is their 8th year, and I will be presenting 2 topics. The theme this year is healing and restoration. So I'm really excited about that. This topic kind of ties a little bit into that, honestly. So if you read the title before you came in here, you already know that the first thing it says is, I failed, my child is gay/bisexual. And then I asked the question, why does the sexuality of a child measure the success or fail of a parent? Now, this one is, as I stated in my post, it's a little bit of a touchy topic, and I totally understand that. But I do welcome anyone who is listening, even if you're catching the replay later. Please feel free to add to the conversation. Share this with someone who you feel this may help or that can add value to the information that I am sharing, because I'm not here to be right. I am here to be heard and to get the conversation started. So I'll start with this. I asked a gentleman today, I said, hey, do you feel like you base the success or failure of you as a parent on your child's sexuality? And he was like, I don't get it. What do you mean by that? I said, do you feel as though if your child comes to you and says, I'm gay or bisexual, that you failed as a parent? And quite honestly, he gave me really good insight. He said, well, he thought for a little while that I wouldn't necessarily say that it was a failure or a success. More so, would feel like I didn't set a good enough example for my child. And I said, okay, that's a really good perspective versus the, fail success theory that I originally thought of. And so I really took that and I let it marinate a little bit. It a little bit and yes, I am going to be very cautious of what I say because I want to make sure that I am not speaking to hurt anyone. Anything that I say, it's truly for informational purposes and to again get these conversations started. Because let's be real, if these topics are in our homes, they're packed in the back of our minds, they're stuck on the back of our tongues, and we're not available, open, or equipped to have these conversations. And so it almost, yes, could be said as okay, well, maybe I am saying that I failed to set a quote unquote, I got my air quotes up, a good example for my child if they have decided that their sexuality is to go with the same sex. And so for that, I really would want to know, is it because your peers are not in agreement with a certain lifestyle, or is it the unknown of you as a parent of this lifestyle that because you're not familiar with it or you don't know enough about it, you feel as though, oh my gosh, what have I done? I failed to set a good example for my child because, hey, they like someone of the same sex. One of the things when it comes to gay, the LGBTQIA plus community, there are a lot of things that people say like, no, you were not born this way, or this was pushed on you, or most times it's a phase. There are a wide variety and magnitude of a spectrum when it comes to where someone may fall into the category of the LGBTQIA plus community. Just as we have finally recognized that when it comes to autism, there's a spectrum, right? So someone may be high functioning, someone maybe not. I can't, speak too deep on that because I'm not immersed in that. It speaks to that same thing. So I asked the question, why would a parent feel as though they have not done a great job in raising their child because they have chosen a lifestyle that doesn't look like what that parent may have grown up in or what that parent may have experienced, or that parent may not have been brave enough to say, this is how I feel and this is what I want? Why would it be such a stretch of a measure to say, you know, I recognize that my child is interested in the same sex. So, how can I support that? Or how can I not necessarily, even if maybe you don't want to support it, right? Great. How can I support my child? How can we look beyond the, oh my gosh, you're with someone who I don't feel like you should be with? How do we look past that and support the child? How do we not make that such a big deal overall, you see me fiddling around with a video because I like to be able to see and know if someone comments, because it doesn't necessarily show me here. How can we get beyond the, oh my gosh, what is so and so going to say? What is the family going to think? How do we get beyond that worrying about the status of us to our peers to the point where we neglect what the child may feel or may be going through, or how we can just support the child? Because there's a big difference in supporting the child and supporting the lifestyle. There's a huge difference. They're two different things. One of my children's friends in school, in high school, he was interested in boys, and his parents completely just, no, if you decide to go this route, you need to get out of our house. This is a child. And I think about the children who have struggled so hard with that, to the point where you have to think about this. Our parents in our world, they're the highest beings in our world for most of us. This is, even if you think about a neglected and an abused child, they still hold their parent in some regard. Not all, but some still hold them in some regard of superiority. And so if we think our own parent doesn't accept us, are we even worth being here in this world? And so when I think about the very high statistics of the LGBTQIA plus community, the suicide rate, when I think about that, I really have to think that is a child who feels that the person that created me thinks that I'm so horrible that they don't even love me. They don't support me. It's not so much as supporting the lifestyle as much as it is supporting the child. And so when we put our own egos and our own caring about what others think above the love of our children, then who's the actual failure here? Where does the failure lie? Is it with the fact that our child has chosen a lifestyle that is not of our choosing or our knowledge or our path in life? Or is it because I'm not going to support my child? Is that all on me? I failed. So I would want to know, and definitely please feel free to add any information that you have in the chat there. And I'll be happy to read it aloud. We have to get out of this mode of, because I grew up this way, then my child has to. They're gay or bisexual because someone told them. They're just doing this because, oh, they just seen something else or they saw something on TV. And granted, I can't say that that's not the case for some people. But if I think about a 3-year-old, 3 to 7-year-old, for the most time, little boys who idolize and love their mom, and even some of you have put on your mom's heels. And I know that there are some men who are like, take those off. Or if a male child wants to play with a Barbie, you can't play with that. And it's like, the highest woman in their life wears these heels, or they look like this Barbie doll. And so maybe they're just, I guess the promotion, but it's not merely a personal choice. It's being idolized and normalized on a massive scale. It is. So I have a chat here in, it's okay. I have a chat here in Clubhouse, and it says, I am against the promotion of LGBTQ, but it's not merely a personal choice. It is being idolized and normalized on massive scales. I do agree with that. And they also said, I don't want to be contentious, and it's okay. I do these rooms so that we can open up the communication. And what you said, I completely get. And because I look at things on a wider scale, I think about it like this, because it is a lot of LGBTQIA plus content that is every single day being pushed on social media, on primetime TV, on commercials and magazines, just about any and everything that you can touch. There is that representation. But I take a step back and I think about this. In the 90s, right? Early 90s, mid 90s, there was not a huge representation of Black and brown people on TV, in magazines, and in anything. And so in the household, as parents, we would say, you can be anything that you want to be. You can be doctors, lawyers, astronauts. You can be anything. You can be successful. And we get this in the household. But when these children start seeing people that look just like them on the screen, it's like, okay, now I can be proud to be who I am. It's viewed a little bit different when it comes to having two men kissing on TV. Do I think that is too much? Absolutely. Everybody's household is not prepared to have that conversation with their 4-year-old who's like, oh my gosh, there's two guys kissing. Maybe I'll go to preschool and try that, right? I do not believe that every household is equipped to have that conversation, nor do I believe that we should have to have that conversation because of what's seen on TV. What I do believe is if there is a child who has not witnessed this on TV or have seen it in the community, feels as though, and they come to you, that child comes to you as their parent and say, I feel like I like, if it's a male child or a female child, I feel like I like so and so in the classroom and they are of the same sex. Do you lay the hammer down and shut them down, or do you have a full conversation to help them to understand what they're actually feeling? That is where we succeed as parents, is having an actual conversation with the child. So I have a comment here on Facebook, and it says, not only as a young child, but as an adult of parents, they also treat their children a different way. It does affect the child, young or older, of a parent who has an issue with your sexuality. It absolutely does. And speaking in this vein that I was saying of having that actual conversation with the child, it's being able to say, what does that feel like? Because you and so could absolutely be friends. Are you saying that you love them because you want to be their friend? And if you really listen, the child probably will say, oh, well, yeah, I do. Just like I love, this friend of the opposite sex. But it's having that conversation. But when you're ready to throw the hammer down and shut it down, it's more or less of, okay, well, why? Let me explore that a little further and see why. So it's really, we don't have conversations with our children that we need to. So right here on Clubhouse, I hear you, but did we overcorrect? I believe so. Everyone has their own morality, but that is not the same as promoting it. Neutral versus encouraging. Yes. I'm listening, by the way, and I appreciate that. And it becomes shameful. Yes, I totally agree. I am with you 1,000% when it comes to when there was not any type of representation. Did the table get completely flipped over real quick, and it's now over correction of we need to have abundance of representation. Yes, because commercials, everywhere you look, there is that conversation that now needs to be had that every household is not equipped to have. Should we as parents be shameful of the child for the feelings that they have? Because listen to this. A 5-year-old boy comes home from kindergarten and says to dad, I love Mary Jane. She's cute. Dad's like, way to go, son. You getting them girls. Right? That's usually the thought process. Mom is gonna be like, boy, you too young to be with the girls, just be friends. But dad is like, yes, that's my boy bagging the girls. Same kid comes home from kindergarten, and crazy enough, this does happen. This is not a far-fetched scenario, and says, Dad, I forgot the name that I used, but the guy in my class. Versus figuring out if he's saying I just like him as a friend, it's, oh no, you don't. We don't do that. You don't, you know. And so the little boy's like, whoa, what's going on here? What did I do wrong? Immediately, we almost made that child feel like they're wrong for a feeling that at the age of 5, they don't understand. Mark, thank you. I forgot the name. So the feeling that, our male kindergarten came home, we shut their emotion down. We beat that emotion down instead of understanding what type of life they were even talking about. And so now our male child has this thought process of, okay, I now need to keep any type of emotions or feelings that I have a secret. I have to hold that inside of me. I can't communicate or decipher or get some help figuring out my feelings with my parent because they just will shut me down without understanding how I feel. And this grows up with that child. I can say this, and I want you to really think about this. There are probably some people that are in or that you went to high school with, some guys and some girls that you went to high school with, and you find out in present day that they are with the same sex or they've dibbled in the same sex pool. And you think back like, oh man, he used to have all the girls back in school. He never settled down, but he definitely was with all the girls. Or she used to go through a lot of guys in school, never settled down, but because we're kind of going through the motions, because they weren't able to have those conversations to decipher those feelings. Because at the end of it all, it matters at home, the conversations that as parents, our success as parents is communicating with our children, supporting our children and understanding what they're feeling without giving them what they should feel, because we can't say what they should feel because it's their feelings. I was born in 79. In that era above me, it was children, you live by the rule that I set. You grow up, you get married, you have children, you work, you go to college. Those were the standards, period. Whether you wanted to go to college or not, whether you wanted to be married or not, those were the standards. That was the standard for the whole family. The whole family's watching. So if you didn't do that, then them as parents felt like they failed. Never mind that that child grew up as a successful business owner versus going to college. They have been in a long-term and possible marital relationship with someone of the same sex. Or maybe they even finished college successfully, married successfully, adopted children with that same sex. Why are we looking at those two differently? Because it's not of a path that we're used to. This is not a new topic. LGBTQ, IA plus is not a new topic. It is now a forefront topic. And it is not a slow rolled out forefront topic. It is a black through it in your face topic. And so we're all not ready for that. Because truth be told, a lot of these children and a lot of these teenagers and a lot of these adults did not decide because they saw two people kissing on TV of the same sex. Oh, I want to be gay. I think I like both sexes. So I have a comment here on Clubhouse. The most lasting, most understood, and most important transformations in our thought process and valuing in life comes from genuine, innate insight. Our role is not to grow up for our children. We aren't entitled to steer their lives like they are an attached limb. Exactly. And I appreciate that. And I thank you for that insight. We lead first by example and second by the values we have. Precisely. Because here's the thing. A child can grow up in a heterosexual household, end up in a same-sex lifestyle, and then the parent is trying to figure out, well, why? What's that can't be right. What's wrong with you? You need to go on, just find you a wife or a husband, whatever. That's just whatever. I mean, these people are grown at this point. But at any point, did you step back and look in the mirror and say, okay, parent, did I ever have a conversation with my child about how they feel? Am I measuring my success as a parent on my child's sexuality? And if I am, why? To me, the measure of success of you as a parent is you giving your children the tools and resources to survive beyond the day you leave this earth. And like the comment here on Clubhouse said, we lead first by example and second by the values that we have. The value that we have is being able to have those open, honest, transparent communications, allowing our children to speak and we speak back. We may not have to understand it, but we can listen and support the child. So the comment here on Clubhouse, even when they are kids, we let them reason with us, no matter how excruciating it is. Your patience and grace early on defines your openness in their 8 to 15 years of age. Yes, it does. You give them the know-how to formulate a thought, formulate conversations, be able to express to you how they feel. Let them walk through a thought process. That's not your success or fail. Their sexuality has nothing to do with your success or fail. It's how do you communicate with them? How do you allow them to be communicated with? So the Clubhouse, so they keep developing with you, not fight it out like birds in a cage. Yes. Good Lord, we want to love each other, really. Yes, absolutely. We have to allow our children to formulate those thoughts and understand their feelings, and especially as they go into adulthood. Because if you listen to my previous shows, I talked about, our children don't have expiration dates. At 18, they don't just turn off being our children. They continue to be our children throughout our life until even when we're gone, they're still our children. So it doesn't stop there. So if there's an adult child that is in your life and they have come to you as gay or bisexual, do you say, oh my gosh, I failed as a parent? Or do you communicate with them and understand? Do you support the child? You don't have to support the lifestyle. You support the child. I hope that this conversation has opened up some conversations that maybe you have to have or need to have. I genuinely appreciate you guys for being on here. It's 29 minutes after, and I don't like to keep you too long. I thank you to my Clubhouse participant. I thank you to my Facebook participant. I thank you for my Instagram watchers, and I thank you to my Facebook and YouTube watchers. I appreciate you guys so much for being a part of this. Again, I'm not here to be right. I'm here to be heard and get the conversations started. This topic affects hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of children and parents around the world every single day. We have children that are dying and hurting themselves because they don't feel like the highest people in their world they can talk to. So please, please, please pay attention to your children. Listen to your children. I'm not saying that children run you. Listen, talk, help them to understand, formulate thoughts, and be human beings that one day will be adults in this world. The success as a parent, your success as a parent, is based on the tools and resources that you can provide to your children to continue on for the day that you leave this earth. So, you guys, I'm here normally I'm here on Tuesday night, but I did have to push it back one day because I locked my keys in the office and I couldn't get back in here. So our Clubhouse comment, it's hard when a massive machine keeps feeding an alternative communist and our gay agenda. Yes, I do agree. It is being pushed very heavily. Again, it went from we don't have enough representation to boom, it's all in your face. The reality is it's there. It's always been there. It was just, down in the basement. Now the basement doors are wide open and it's there. It's in your face, is accepted. So now we just have to have those conversations. That's just, it's enough of fighting the media on what they're doing and to start communicating in your household on what we can do. Heterosexuality is misogyny, monogamy is oppression. That is what is being pushed. Absolutely. I don't disagree. But again, what we can do is we can communicate and teach at home. You can't fight the media because the media is going to be there, but we can educate our children, set the example, as you said, lead by example first, right? It's the transhumanistic project. We should lead the human project. If we could just focus on being humans, that would be amazing. But guys, I do have to get out here. Just to remind you, I'm here every single Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We just had this special room because I had to push it back one day because I locked my keys in the office yesterday. I will be right back here next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Sex, Love, and Marriage, where the topic is the balance of marriage and entrepreneurship. Every single week, I am bringing you a different topic surrounding sex, love, and marriage. If there's ever a topic that you want to hear about, shoot me a message. I will make sure we get that topic talked about. If you are in a place where you need to have support in having these conversations, definitely reach out, schedule a one-on-one session with me. Absolutely. Feel free to join me at any of the upcoming events that I have. If you go to loveandintimacy101.com, you will see all of those. We have self-care Sundays. We have date night RVA. We have our mindfulness couples yoga, and I will be presenting 2 topics at Sex Down South. If you want to save money on your Sex Down South ticket, you can use the code Coach K, COACHKAY at sexdownsouth.com. And I will meet you there. Thank you guys for being a part of this. If there's ever a need that you have from me, please feel free to reach out. You are absolutely welcome. I don't want to say your name wrong. That's why I haven't said it to my Clubhouse commenter. This is very uplifting and easy to digest, and I appreciate that. And that's my goal always. So I hope to see you back next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Feel free to share this live, #replay if you are catching the replay, and share your thoughts with me. In the meantime, I will see you guys next week. Good night, everybody.